Welcome to season 4 of the Founders Only podcast, where we uncover the pivotal trials and triumphs and the stories of great founders delivering actionable advice on how to be the leader of the pack. Welcome, everyone, back to the Founders Only podcast. Today, I am so excited to welcome Benjamin Donhardt. He is the CEO and co-founder of SuperFit Grow. He's also a seasoned veteran, both in business and the fitness industry and in the military. He's a highly accomplished gym owner who has more than a decade of experience and has earned a reputation as a trusted advisor and mentor to a diverse range of professionals from gym owners to CEOs. Combining his military background with an expertise in digital sales and marketing, Benji excels in driving growth for fitness brands through innovative online campaigns. Thank you for joining us today and welcome.
Thank you, Mia. Thanks
Awesome.
for the kind
So
introduction.
we're going to start with you telling us about your journey to becoming the founder of SuperFit Grow.
Mm, mm. Excellent. Yeah, good question. And look, it's been a really, really long journey. So I'll go back to sort of my childhood and where it all began from. So I've been involved with fitness my whole life. Like I remember when I think I was 4, I started doing little athletics. And throughout my whole life, fitness has been a massive part of my life. Anyway, I did school. I didn't really enjoy school too much. That took me to basically leaving school in year 10. So I dropped out of school and I started an apprenticeship. So I started an apprenticeship with stonemasonry. So I was a stonemason working on heritage buildings throughout Sydney, which was really, really cool. It was a really good way for me to leave and express who I was as a person through creativity and also obviously getting into the workforce and becoming that adult. Had its challenges. So obviously leaving school at 16 years old and then going into the workforce, the adult workforce, your expectations of you is to be a man at such a young age. So I did find it quite challenging. That took me so I did that for about 8 years, completed the apprenticeship. And then I saw an ad on TV for clearance diving and basically getting into the special forces in the Navy. So it's sort of like a Navy SEAL, as you guys would talk in the US. Yeah. I was sitting on the couch with my mate at the time. I still remember it. And he's like, "Do you think you can do that?" And I'm like, 100% I can. My whole life I've always wanted to put myself into challenging situations where I've wanted to sort of force myself into something hard, which I know helps me grow. So basically did that. And then I signed up for the Navy. And then 2019 in January, I think it was January 19th, 2009, I entered the military. So I did that, became sports person of the intake. So out of all the whole intake we went in, I was the fittest in the whole intake. Got the trophy, excelled just in every aspect of fitness, and I found it pretty easy. All the whole fitness side of the military, which is pretty cool. They do try and break you, but again, everything I've been through in my life, they couldn't do it. So yeah, it was really, really interesting, and it was really, really good time. I left there and then began my naval career. So through the naval career, I didn't enter as a clearance diver. I entered as a bosun's mate. So it's basically weaponry, ship's husbandry, and I did a whole lot of other courses like firefighting, ship's diver. So I became the ship's diver when I got posted to a ship. Basically, then my whole goal was to get into the clearance divers. All right, that was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done because there's a lot of politics in the military, if you can appreciate. A lot of politics. So you got to jump through a lot of hoops. Which I did. So I did everything I could to try and get through. I passed a course called CDAT with an A+. And because I was a transfer of category, I couldn't get in. They wouldn't let me go straight in. They would give preference to direct entry clearance divers, if that makes sense. So yeah, so basically did that and got knocked back. I'm like, right, all right, back to the drawing board. What am I going to do now? And this all leads to sort of how the company got built. And sort of why we built it. So yeah, basically did that. And then they said, no, you can't get on course. You needed at sea. So they posted me to a ship at sea and I had to go away. So I went away for 3 months or 4 months, I think it was, came back and started again. All right, I need to get into the course, applied again, had to wait. I think it was close to 2 years or a year and a half. And I had to do the CDAT again. So the clearance driver acceptance test. They told me I didn't have to do it again because I got an A+. Next course available, you'll be on when the spot's free. But no, didn't happen. And yeah, I got the note, got the email. Benjamin Donhardt, you have to do the clearance driver test again. So I did that again. And this is like, when I don't think people understand, the civilians understand how hard it actually is. It's like 10 days of absolute grueling hell. Like you're cold, you're wet, you are being absolutely flogged by the instructors. You're disorientated. Like for one evolution, you jump in the ocean and you're swimming for about 6 hours. So drop you in the ocean, you jump off the wharf, and then you're swimming over to a place called Manly Beach from Balmoral. All right, and then the beach, and you think, oh, excellent, it's all going to be over. No, bit of a 5-minute rest, and you swim back.
Wow.
Then you have to go back again. Yeah, it's pretty incredible. So anyway, did that one again, and that one was with not as much training as I had in the first one. So I still passed, but it wasn't an A+. And again, no, you have to wait. You have to wait. You have to wait until, yeah, it's so frustrating because I was so passionate and I wanted it so much that when I didn't get it, I cried. I was very, very upset. I was like, what? Like, this has been my whole last 4 or 5 years have been leading up to this, and I didn't get it. So again, I was like, what am I going to do? Back to the drawing board. That's when I thought, right, I need something. This is happening for a reason. And sometimes no is good. Sometimes a no can change the whole trajectory of your life and where you're going. So I look now as to where would I have been if I had got that yes? Where would I be now? I don't think SuperFit Grow would have been born. So I'm very, very thankful for that. So yeah, so basically I went back to the drawing board and I had enough, and I'm like, right, too many politics. I'm doing everything I can to try and get into this course. They're not letting me. I'm going to go and do my PT certification. So I went and did my PT certification while I was in the military. I got posted down to the firefighting unit down in Jervis Bay with a nice white sandy beach, really good. And yeah, basically I started my plan there. So I went to the drawing board. I'm like, what I'm going to do? I'm going to put my discharge paperwork in, which I did. I put my discharge paperwork in, and I almost felt like a failure. I almost felt like I failed. Why am I giving up? But at the same time, I had such a passion for fitness and health. I'm like, I want to do that for a full-time career now. I want to do that. So I started doing the course, and through that time, I'm really good with people, and I started coaching and training some of the other some of our Navy friends. And they're like, oh, you need to do this for like full time. Like, you got to do this. You're so good at it, this and that, this and that. So anyway, everything came to light, and I did. I had 2 friends who were opening a gym. This is an F45 when that first, I think we were the 5th gym that opened in Sydney. So basically they called me up. I still remember I was sitting on the wharf in Sydney at Garden Island, and they called me up and said, hey, do you want to open a gym? I said, I'd love to. Well, like, what's the story? And they said, come and meet us for lunch on Saturday at 12 o'clock. It was in Drummoyne. Come and meet us there. So I went and met them, and yeah, it was meant to be. We got along like a house on fire, and yeah, everyone was aligned with the same vision and mission. And 2015, it was May, I'm pretty sure. May in 2015, we opened the gym, and that was the start of the proper start of the fitness career. And I never looked back. As soon as I stepped foot in that gym on open day, I knew that's where I was meant to be. And that's when I knew. That's why I didn't get let into, or I didn't make it into the clearance diving unit. That's when I knew. I was like, right, that's why that didn't happen. All right. So then basically opened the gym. I built it to about 250 members in the first year, which was fantastic, really good. But again, I always wanted more. I've always wanted to, again, what's another challenging thing? It became easy. I'm like, oh, what else can I do? So a friend had investors that were opening one in San Francisco, and yes, definitely. Like, I want to go and do that. I want to go to a different country and try and replicate what I'd done in Sydney in a different country. Did that, went and met the investors, went through all the meetings, everything. Yep, everything's good. Where I was flying over there, had my ticket, had everything to go. And a week out, they pulled the pin. and basically said, we're not investing anymore. We're not going. And I went, what? I've
Plan
just
your whole life
like,
around this.
my whole
Yes.
life has changed. Yeah, I had a girlfriend at the time, and basically that
Wow.
relationship ended because of that. And because I chose my dream, I'm not gonna not chase what I want to do forever. If I'm not getting supported, then I'm gonna go. I need to follow my dreams. I need to follow what I want to do. I'm a big believer in that. And yeah, and
Right.
basically then I'm like, what do I do now? And I still remember going again. So
Yes.
this all comes back to that, like my journey back to the
Yes.
drawing board. What I'm going to do. So I on the plane anyway. Went over there and literally went over there and just door knocked on gyms and just said, "Hey, I'm Benji. I'm from Australia, and I want to
Wow.
get some experience in the US market. And yeah, do you have any? I'll coach for free for you. I don't care. I don't want money. I just want to go over there and learn." So I did that. I did that for a couple of weeks, and then I came back to Australia because I had a good opportunity to manage a few gyms in Sydney. So I did that again, more learning experience. And while I was doing that, two Aussie guys, they're good friends now. They came and just into the studio randomly and said, "Hey, we're opening a studio in the US.
Wow.
We want you to come and help us." They'd heard about me somewhere, yeah. So again, back to the drawing board. Right, what's that going to look like? And then back on a plane back over there and yeah, went and worked with the guys, became great friends. We're still friends now, and then again helped build this studio for them and coach classes and help them grow it, which was fantastic. And through all this time I started to see problems in the sales processes, problems not so much with marketing, more with sales, and how to interact with human beings, not like they're an object or like they're a monetary number and being transactional. How can I help coach other people and other owners and other managers into having a normal conversation with someone and finding out what their problem is, and if we've got the solution, then we bring them through the doors. So I started to see it and see it and see it. Anyway, well, I want to do that one day, and this is where the idea started. I want to do that one day. Anyway, that my visa ran out there, so I came back to Australia, and I had a friend in the Navy that had a fitness equipment company, and he was selling. There were barbells about like probably
Mm-hmm.
just under a meter long, and as they got heavier, they
Mm-hmm.
got thicker in diameter. So they were really good for portable personal trainers. Well, at the time, he needed a sales manager, so I went and applied and went through the whole process, and yep, got it. It was all good. Um, Started doing really well with that, and naturally, I had no idea about sales, but naturally, I was good with people, so I started selling the product a lot more here in Australia. We sold the rights in Australia, and then guess what? That took me back to the US. So he wanted to break into the US market. So here goes Benji back to the US. I think it was January we left again, back to the US, and literally went through LA, San Diego, and San Francisco, walking around with these metal bars,
Mm-hmm.
knocking on gym doors. Basically, like walking in, this is what I've got, this is who I am. Here, test it. I can run a class for you for free and see how we go. Anyway, we did that, and I did that for about 5 months. And yeah, this is where the resilience came with me in sales. So they always say more no's towards a yes. And that's, I think now where I'm at now, that's what that sort of job served for me. And that's what resilience it built up in me. And we did that. We sold the rights in the US, and then the company who took the rights basically, my job became like null and void. And I came back to Australia, and then again back to the drawing board. Where do we go from here? All right. This time it was all right. I need a break. I'm going to go on a holiday for 2 weeks up and see one of my best mates that I grew up with since kindy and or preschool, if you guys call it. Went up there and yeah, just took some time off. When I was there, I walked past a gym, a rundown gym, and I looked at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's like, just curious. Wow, what's going on with that place? It was really like there was barbells holding the doors up. It was horrible. Yeah, it was bad. Anyway, it wasn't good. So I called. I was just looking through jobs because I really enjoyed it up in Queensland when I came and see my friend, and I was like, I'll just have a look. And he's like, I'll just see what jobs are up here. So I found one, and it was that same gym
What?
that had the barbells holding the doors up. I know, it's crazy. And so basically I called up and I called the guy, and he goes, it was just advertised for a casual trainer. And I said, have you got like when do you want to catch up? He goes, I'm actually an investor. I'm in Canberra, but I can come up and meet you. We're actually after a manager. And we don't, So basically, he flew up, we met, and I said, look, I don't want to be a manager. I want to come here for a couple of months, and I want to help you grow it back. And then I want to start. This is my vision of what I want to do. I want to start a consulting company within sales and helping train managers and staff how to sell. So I did that, and I think the gym was at about 80 members, 75 members or something. And within 3 months, we grew it to 180 members, which was really, really good. So got it back to where they needed. And again, I started getting itchy feet. I'm like, what's next? What can I do next? And one of the members there worked on super yachts over in Europe. So, she came in. I said, "Oh, what's that like?" And she started telling me what it was like, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." And basically, I said, "Oh, I'd love if any jobs come up, let me know because I think that would be pretty cool." 3 days later, she comes in and she goes, "Here's a link." She emailed me a link saying this person's looking for a PT. Anyway, I applied. It was a Russian billionaire, and he was going on a 5-month trip over to all through Europe. And basically, he needed a personal trainer for that whole trip. And I applied and got it. So, So then, Benji flew up to Cairns, and then that's where he was stationed. Sorry. And then, we met. We got along like a house on fire. He's still a great friend today, and I traveled all through Europe with him: Russia, Germany, Italy, Philippines, London, everywhere. There's probably more places I haven't mentioned. Israel, which is fantastic. And what I learned from him is he had a very similar journey to me. He'd been in the military. And this guy's like so successful. It's not funny, but the most lovely person. And I could see almost looked up to him like a father figure, and like, I'd love to be able. I want to be like that one day. And I come from a very poor background, like a lot of domestic violence, bad upbringing, and sorry. I always wanted something really good for my life. So, when basically I was with him, he's almost like that father figure, a mentor. And when that contract came to an end, he basically said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm going to start a sales consult. I'm going to start a proper sales company for gyms and fitness studios." And I did. I came back to Queensland, and then I started. It was called Benefit Sales Solutions. So basically, I did that. I was doing fencing on the side, so labouring during the day. It was fucking like 10 hours a day of labouring, and then I would do work on the gyms of an afternoon. So I'd call all their leads and help them nurture their leads of an afternoon from about 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. at night. And then, basically that took me, I started getting more clients and started picking, my name started getting out there. And I had a full-blown agency around sales and helping fitness studios convert sales and using different CRMs, and I was partnering with different CRM companies, and just all I wanted to do was help gym owners and gym managers and coaches become better salespeople. So we did that, and basically I was doing that for, I think it was 2.5 years, and it came with its challenges, a lot of challenges along the way, ups and downs, partners that I thought were in my corner that basically looked at what I was doing and ripped me off, and then I lost clients. It was a lot. I learned a lot. And then, we're in the mentorship group. I started building my platform, and I met my business partner in the Facebook GHL group. Basically, he was marketing, and he was lead generation and really switched on, incredible media buyer, really, really good. And he was doing the same as I was, just him. And I think he outsourced his media buying to a company in the US, but it was just him running the business and I was running. He popped a message in saying, "Can anyone help me out with some sales, copy, and lead nurturing for my clients? Is anyone in here versed at that?" And I've seen it and responded and said, "Let's jump on a Zoom and have a chat." And bang, we did. And that was the start. Basically, we jumped on and felt like we'd known each other I think we worked with each other for 3 months, just helping out each other's clients. And then we thought, what are we doing? Let's just form a company. Because I feel like I've known him for 10 years, but I've known him for 3.
Form SuperFit grow together as new business.
Yeah. And that's when his agency, my agency, boom, we come together, and SuperFit Grow was born. And basically we had now, because through when I was doing sales, when I started in 2018, 2019, you didn't have to do too much. Like Facebook was easy. You could generate leads easily. There wasn't too much competition with gyms, especially in the group fitness space. So what we did, so basically it was people would just come in, right? You could put one organic post up and people would fly through the doors. But as it got harder and harder, I started to get asked, can you generate leads for me? I'm like, no, I'm sales only. That's all I focus on. That's my passion, right? And then it just made sense at that time, 2019, 2021 we met. At that time, it just made sense. Let's give it a go. And we did, and we're now in 8 different countries. We've got a key account in Southeast Asia for our software. We've helped well over 200 studios. It's incredible what we've been able to do in such a short period of time. But again, I guess my biggest takeaway from all of this is when things don't go your way, sometimes it's meant to be, and it's meant to be that way. And you go back to the drawing board and where do I go from here? So that's how SuperFit Grow was born.
So many parallels or so many repeated lessons and morals to this evolution of Benji. So much trial, tribulation, what's the word I'm looking for? The resilience and the rejection that you've had to deal with makes so much sense that you pivoted into sales. Because with someone with the background that you have, both before your professional background at all, even before you joined the military, it sounds like your upbringing, your military experience, all these things had like this perfect storm of being able to overcome no's and knowing that there's just something bigger and not to hold on or put a ceiling over yourself. You just kept moving on. You just kept pushing. And the other thing I want to say about it is how important it is, and please tell me what you think about this, how important it is to have that resilience in any business. In any business, regardless of sales, without the sales component, there's going to be so many challenges that you're going to face in business. And being able to have that life experience and work experience that showed you that you just have to keep going and don't close the door to any opportunity. Just have your eyes open for the opportunity and go after it.
Exactly right. Exactly. You've got to people. This is a thing with business. People think, oh, they're lucky they're in a business. They must be killing it. They must be they don't see the getting up in the morning and literally all the fires have got to be put out. Literally getting kicked in the face every single day. You're literally opening a door to, the way I explain it to you, opening a door to a zombie apocalypse. There's just zombies out there. You've got to walk your way through and push people out, keep going through. It's literally business. Like people that say, if anyone says business is easy, it's not. What the general public see is someone becomes successful and then, oh, they're lucky. Oh, look what they've done. They haven't seen all of that heartache and pain and blood, sweat and tears go into that business.
I was just talking today to someone on my team about how important it is, how non-negotiable personal development is with professional development, and how you cannot ever be successful as a leader in a business if you are not self-aware, if you have not taken the time to develop yourself as an individual, because there's so much you can't get away. If you scale your business, either you're going to have to deal with customers or potential customers, or you're going to have to deal with your internal team, or both. There's really no way to excel in business and not build the personal development and the relationships with others. And I also like in your story how there's this parallel between the coaching, whether that be the fitness coaching or the sales coaching, this kind of development, you've been able to transition that into helping other people develop themselves. So I have a question for you about how has your military experience influenced your
Mm.
mindset as a founder and your approach to coaching your
Mhm.
customers and
Mhm.
clients to help them be better, whether that be more disciplined, whether that be overcoming no's? How has the military experience helped
Yeah.
you with that?
Yeah, definitely good question. Look, I guess the military experience, it teaches you so much of what to do right, but what I took from it, it also taught me so much of not what to do. Right. So some of their ways they teach are so Neanderthal and so behind and backwards of time that it's ridiculous. Like you need to approach, like you said before, human beings are human beings. We need to understand every human being is different. No human being is the same. Yes, you need discipline. Yes, you need motivation. And yes, you need resilience. But you also need heart and understanding of who you are and who the other person is. So I don't think the same way my business partner does. Right. So in that, I have to go, right, hang on, step back a bit. Because in the military, it's this way or no way, and that's it. And that's a lot of the way I am. I am a lot like that. But at the same time, what my biggest demons and what I work on every day is letting people, like, I'm a very unique person. There's like not many people like me at all that can do what I do. But I got to understand that not everyone's like me. So the military taught me a lot of what to do, resilience, fucking get it done, don't whinge and complain, like resilience, especially like just get your teeth kicked in and keep going. But it also taught me, hang on, there needs to be some sort of empathy, forgiveness, and like understanding of other people, especially in business, because especially internally with your team, you're not all the same. I mean, all your unique, and this is how I look at our team and any other team is. If they were all like me, we wouldn't have a business. We'd be shut down. There's no way it would be working. All right. So everyone brings their own unique sort of gift to the company, and that's what makes a company. That's what makes a culture. That's what builds a culture. Having those and understanding their points of difference, understanding their strengths, understanding their weaknesses, because weaknesses can be used as strengths.
Absolutely.
I think does weaknesses aren't always a negative thing.
Well,
It can be a
simply
positive thing.
knowing what your
So yeah,
weaknesses
that's
are so
mm,
critical. I mean, just knowing
exactly.
what your weaknesses are can help you delegate
Yeah,
and help you give
yeah,
that task to
exactly,
someone who has that as a strength. Yeah.
exactly right, exactly. So I think the biggest thing the military taught me was resilience, and it's okay to say no, and failing doesn't mean that you are a failure,
Absolutely.
if that makes sense. So when I didn't get into those courses, that happened for a reason. Because I always think about it. Imagine where I'd be if I actually got in. I'd probably still be in there. I don't know. I know where I'd be, but it didn't. That wasn't my path. That's why it wasn't where I was meant to be. So when opportunities come, you don't have to
I
say
mean,
yes.
it just really, I love your story, Benji, because you not only had
Mm,
to overcome these challenges, but I can see how these challenges that you've been
mm.
experiencing your whole life were absolutely necessary for you to evolve into someone who could
Oh,
coach
100%.
others. Like you had to go through those things. You had
Exactly.
to. So, I mean, I just think it's great. My personal background is, no, both my parents were, I didn't grow up with both my parents. And my mother, she passed
Mm,
away when I
same.
was 5. And my mother and I had a very, very, very close relationship just for those first 5 years. And she was a teacher. And so
Mm,
education was very, very, very important to her. And I used to
yeah,
think to myself,
yeah, wow.
if my mother would have been here as I grew up, I probably would have gone to Harvard because education would have
Mm,
stayed front and center.
mm,
But
yeah,
instead, I went a completely different path. And now I look back and I see how all of those
mm,
things that I went through,
mm,
including losing my mother, were absolutely necessary for me to be
exactly.
Mia. I would not be Mia. I would be a different Mia. I
Exactly
would
right.
not be Mia. So
Exactly.
absolutely, it's, I
Exactly
love
right.
being able, and it sounds like you've done the same thing, being able to look back on these challenges that you faced that were externally put on you, right? You didn't
Mm,
choose some of these
mm.
paths just by saying no. Others said no. Situations
Yeah,
said
exactly.
no. And so
Exactly.
you had to be adaptive
Mm,
or adaptable and flexible to figure out which way to go and keep going back to, well, what do I do next? But
Mm.
how different it is when your path is forged rather than you being able to
Exactly
pick
right.
every little
100%.
thing. It's actually a beautiful design of life. So
It
what
is.
is
It
your
is.
biggest regret or lesson you've learned in business? And then I'm going to ask you, what's your biggest regret or lesson you've learned in life?
I don't have any regrets or lesson. What I do, I don't have any regrets because, like, when I do something, I do it with everything that I believe and whatever I believe in myself, and I've had to teach myself that at such a young age. Um, so yeah, I honestly don't have any regrets. I don't like if I've done things, I've made mistakes, and I've made choices that have been like horrendous and terrible for me personally and for business. But I don't regret it because I've gone through. Well, I've made that decision. I went through the pain of that decision, and that taught me, wow, they're the repercussions when you act like that. They're the repercussions when your frequency when you're not operating at your full
So what
potential.
about the lessons then? I love that you
That's
don't
right.
regret it. What's
The
one big
lesson I
lesson
would
that
say,
you've learned in
yeah,
business?
one big lesson is no matter what anybody tells you, and this might sound cliche, but you are you. Do not wear masks. Be yourself. Never, ever, ever go into a situation and pretend to be someone to impress someone else. Biggest lesson is to just believe in yourself. Believe in yourself no matter what life throws at you, because I'm telling you now, where I've come from, where I am now, where I'm going, people will go, holy shit, how did he do that? It's just believing in yourself, believing in your ability.
One of the biggest lessons I've learned recently is the same, actually. And it actually came
Mm,
about from another podcast interview I had, where the guest said when he needs to make decisions for his business, he asks himself, would I bet on me? And it really was so impactful. And I had a conversation with the guest later on after the podcast. And I
mm,
told him, I said,
mm,
that stuck with me for like, I think
mm,
about it every week
mm,
because it occurred to me that
mm,
I was able to achieve a certain level of success myself without betting on myself.
mm,
I didn't
mm,
even
mm,
it's interesting how sometimes an idea or your brain, your ability to think of ideas or innovate can take you so
mm,
far. But you're going to hit a ceiling
mm.
until you believe it. Because if you
Exactly.
don't,
Yeah.
that you're going to hit that ceiling and then you won't be able to get past it. You have to bet on yourself
Exactly.
in order to excel that
Exactly.
ceiling because the
Yep.
innovation, the
100%.
ideas, the team, the systems, all those things are going to get you to that ceiling. And then the only way to grow past
Mm,
that is that personal development and betting on yourself. So
exactly.
I love it. What
Exactly
about in
right.
life? What's a
Exactly.
big lesson you've learned
Exactly.
in life? I know you're a father, so I have a feeling that there's a
Mm,
lesson there that you might be able to share how it's been a father and a business owner.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest lesson in life is no matter how hard it gets in business, you're not going to die. It's not going to kill you. And you've got like be grateful for what you've got. Your roof over your head. There's always people worse off than you, and be grateful for your family. Be grateful for who you are, like who you are as a person. Be grateful. And if you make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. Everyone makes mistakes. No one's perfect. No one. And no matter how many people think they are, they're not. Because everyone, I'm telling you now, every successful person works so hard every single day on their goals. And it's the victims and the fucking pity potty poopy pants people that, oh, poor me, look at them, they're so lucky. We're all built the same. We're all come out of
And we
we're
all
all
have the
born
same
the same.
24 hours.
There's no one privileged. Exactly. There's no one that's got a golden stick that goes, oh, I'm Mr. Harry Potter and I'm lucky. You know what I mean? Like we're all the same. So lesson in life, I think their life lesson is be grateful for what you've got. Be grateful for who you are, and I mean, if you don't have it, what are you going to do to change it? How are you going to change that?
How do you
Don't
practice
be a victim.
gratitude? How does the gratefulness in your life and the gratitude that you feel for having the things that you need to provide for yourself, to survive, to provide for your family,
Mhm.
do you participate in any gratitude activities such as journaling, vision boarding, anything like that?
Yep. Every day. Look, for me, it's fitness. I'm fit. I'm healthy. I train every morning at around 4:35 a.m. And I'll train sometimes in the afternoon as well. Healthy. My kids are healthy. We've got food on the table. You know what I mean? What else do you need? As human beings, as men, that's all we need. It's all the materialistic bullshit that social media puts in our face and comparing ourselves against others. Like that's the biggest enemy is so many people compare themselves against others. Oh, but they've got this, they've got that.
Mhm.
I want that. Well, you've got a roof over your head. You're comfortable. You're happy. What else do you need? Like as you know, why do you need anything else? As long as you've got your health. And I think practicing my gratitude is again, journaling every morning. I do reflect and project. We call it. Learned that from a mentor, Luke. Um, and basically, yeah, every morning I'd write down my feelings and cognitive thoughts from the last day. So I'd get it all out. What were my wins? What were my challenges? What can I do better professionally? What can I do better personally? And how am I going to show up today? And basically every day I'll show up unfuckwithable, powerful, influential, and
I
yeah,
love
and just
that.
strong.
Unfuckwittable.
And
I
that's
love
that's what I
that.
want to be able to
I
do.
need I
Mm,
need that word on my
mhm.
wall. I need that word
It's the
on my
best
wall.
word.
Yes.
Unfuckable.
So now we're
Yeah.
talking about, being fit in these different parts of your life. Mentally fit,
Yeah.
physically fit, professionally fit. What are your top tips for balancing your life in these different areas? How do you approach your schedule? What does your morning look like? So you mentioned that you go to the gym. What does the rest of
Mm,
your morning look like? And when do you
mhm.
start work?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So depending on the day, like scheduling a week out doesn't work for me because it's changing so fast with the business. Sometimes calls come in early morning, but generally speaking, it's up at 4:30 in the gym by 5, training at 5. Usually do a 45 minute to an hour session, and then when I get home, it's family time. So I come in and spend time with the family. My son runs up to me at the door and Daddy comes up to me, and gives me a big cuddle, and it's a beautiful feeling. Sit down there and watch him eating his butter. He calls peanut butter. He doesn't say peanut butter. So he has his butter and then he sits there and eats and talk to him. The other boys are off to school. So I usually see them off and have a chat to them. And with 4 boys in the morning, it's always one of them melting down. There's always one of them having a meltdown attack. Oh, so basically do that. And then usually the day starts at around 8 o'clock in the morning. Call to my business partner, we touch base, we go through the day, and then we jump on our internal meetings. And that's really usually how it works. There's no like hour of meditation and journaling for 2 hours and all this. It's literally get up, get my reflector project done. Usually takes me 15 to 20 minutes into the gym. I do have a cold shower in the morning because I like it, and Queensland's quite a hot place. So after the gym, I'm still sweating and everything like that. So I like a cold shower and have my black coffee in the morning. I fast until usually the first 5 hours of the day till about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And yeah, that's it. There's no crazy routine. It's just what works for
Okay.
me.
So
That's it.
let's pivot now
Mm.
to marketing. So
Yep.
being an agency owner myself, I'm curious how you all market SuperFit Grow. So what does your
Yeah.
funnel look like for your SaaS business?
Hmm.
And what's your
Hmm.
go-to marketing channel? Like what's your primary marketing channel and what does that funnel
Mm.
look like for SuperFit
Yeah.
Grow?
Yeah, definitely. So basically, for us, it's all around. We're very big on brand, and I'm very big on brand marketing before lead generation marketing. So for us, it's been getting in front of the right people. We've partnered with a group called Beyond Active. They're an incredible group that basically bring all the like leaders of the fitness industry together, and they hold 4 events throughout the year. So we've been a part of them since not last year, the year before, since 22. So that PR brand marketing is 100% number one. And then we go into when we're doing lead generation or brand marketing on the Meta platforms. That's where we're doing most of our marketing. It's all value-added content. So how can we help more people, especially organically as well? If you go to my Instagram, you'll be able to see all valuable content for gym owners, fitness business owners, and that can even be related to other industries as well. Team culture. So basically, valuable content first. I want to give people as much content, as much value first before I ask for their money or before I ask to work with them. So that's basically our strategy. But for us this year, it's brand. So, for instance, I'm speaking on a keynote speaking in 3 cities in Australia: Brisbane, Sydney, and Melbourne at the Bedros Keuilian event, which is fantastic. I've been following Bedros for a long time now. I see a lot of similarities in our journey, and the opportunity came up to speak, keynote speaks. My first time I've ever done it in front of thousands of people, and I'm going to do it. And that's, for me, that's marketing. So being in front of people is marketing, being seen. I think the agency world, and as agency owners, we can get so caught up in digital and being stuck behind our laptop or being stuck behind our computer, where relationships is going to move you faster than any digital strategy at all. Relationships is key. Have to have strong relationships and networks. That's what I think the biggest thing has been for us, is
I
that
was talking
relationships.
to
Mm-hmm.
another friend, a business owner who's not in marketing or agency or anything like that. And I was talking to him like a week ago about how all of the successful business owners that I know, all of them have a A-type personality, and they are out
Mm-hmm.
there meeting people. They are all connecting with
Yep.
people. They have a circle. They have
Yep.
whether that be a tight friend circle or they're at networking events, they're speaking, whatever they're doing, but they are building relationships with other people. That is, I
Yep.
can't think of another
Mm-hmm.
of an example of someone who is really, really super introverted, like on the end of the spectrum of introversion, who is able to
Mm.
build a successful business that way. I completely agree with you.
Mm.
So
Mm.
now let's talk about what Benji's superpower is. So we've heard about your story, your
Mm-hmm.
tremendous story, uh, from your childhood through where you are today. And we've heard about your resilience and your um, ability to overcome rejections and challenges, external challenges. With
Mm.
all that being said, what do you think is your superpower?
Definitely the influence I have on other people, 100%,
So if you were a
definitely.
superhero, you would still choose that as your superpower.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Influence on other people. How I can go into someone, like go into a meeting and someone's unhappy, or go into and face someone that's unhappy, and just show like empathy. Like, we've got a friend now that's going through, or an old friend that's going through a really bad time with drugs, and they had a relapse this week actually, and I basically just called them up and said, I'm here for you whenever you want, have a chat to me, let's talk about it, boom boom boom. And they basically broke down and just started telling me everything. Yeah. So I think it's influence, definitely. How I can influence a room when I'm in it. The ability I have to connect with other people is just, I think I've always been told I can just, no one's ever, they just see me do it and go, just do it so
Mm.
effortlessly. It's just, you just can walk up to someone and just be like, oh, and then you're friends with them
Was that how you were as
straight
a
away.
child? When
So I
you
think that's
were,
probably my, oh my
always
gosh, as
there?
a child, I was walking up at 3 years old to people, hi, how you going? And I'd shake their hand and I'd say hello. And I would never be scared of saying hello to anyone. Never. Probably bad as a kid. But yeah, I think it's, even now I can just walk up to people, and if we go out anytime for a night out or anything, I'm just, I love people. I just want to talk to them and hear their story and have a chat to them and look into their eyes and see, what's your story? What's happened to you? Why are you here? You know what I mean?
Love
It's
it.
intriguing.
I love it. And
It's a
that's
beautiful
why
thing.
we've created this podcast, to hear the story. You know,
Mm.
I created this
Mm.
podcast really because I didn't I felt that business side of things, it's everywhere. I mean, it's so easy to hear
Yeah,
about, you know, this technical topic.
I know. Yeah, oh,
Every
yeah, I know.
one of us as founders has a unique story. We are
Yeah,
individuals, like you said
exactly.
at the beginning. And so there's nothing more powerful and nothing more educational for other
Mm,
business owners than to understand the story, the journey, and how we have been able to overcome and get to where we are.
exactly.
Because like I said a few
Exactly
minutes
right.
ago, all of the skills, the hard skills in the world are only going to get you so far. If you don't build those soft skills and that personal development, if you don't get that going, you're not going to excel past a certain point. So I love that. So
Exactly.
last question, what
Right.
is one book or podcast or resource that has transformed your mindset as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, definitely. It'd be How to Win Friends and Influence People was the first proper book I read when I was going to on my entrepreneurial journey, and it changed everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the best. And I used parts of the book when I was in certain situations, and it worked. It helped, and it's such a powerful book. Podcasts, I would say Bedros Keuilian definitely up there, like just his energy and the way he
I
talks.
just cool.
Bedros
Okay.
Keuilian's podcast. Yeah, the way he talks, his influence, the way he's just incredible. I listen to him daily, and he's just amazing. The way he speaks, he's really, really good. And Andy Frisella I like as well, but definitely Bedros Keuilian is he's very yeah, very good to listen to. So I'd highly recommend anyone that's in business to go through that, especially if they need change in leadership and resilience. Definitely
And
listen to
so,
him.
what is
Definitely.
one key principle or topic or
Mhm.
lesson that you got from How to Win Friends and Influence People? Like, what's one major takeaway you took away
Yeah,
from that book?
perfect. Understand the other person. Understand where they're from. Put yourself in their shoes and understand from their lens, not from yours. And sometimes ask a question without wanting to respond. Ask the question to listen how that person's feeling. 100%.
That is
Biggest takeaway.
so
And it'll change your life.
that is so critical for sales and lead generation, particularly. So I find it interesting
Mm,
that you picked that. That is definitely so critical
mm,
again for business. Understanding people, understanding where
mm.
they are, where they want to get to, understanding what's unique
Yeah.
about them. So I love that. Okay, so Benji, where can people find you on social? Give me your handles.
Benjamin Donhardt official on Instagram. And that's, yeah, I don't have a TikTok, not yet. I probably should get one. But yeah, I don't have. So just Benjamin Donhardt official. That's my Instagram handle. And then obviously Superfit Grow was our business handle as well. So you can check us out on
All
there.
right. Well, thank you
Definitely.
so much, everyone, for joining us today in this chat with Benji. Join us next time. Bye bye.